Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Hendri and today I will present about social analysis of urban youth under the title English code mixing as a prestige maker. Topic is very close to our daily life and where the mixing English into our streets is no longer just a communication trend, but also a signal to a social status. The modern communication phenomenon, the shift in digital interaction, prevalence of English term in Indonesia, professional and creative circle, and the context is tech startup, creative agency, and academic environment. Let's observe this modern communication phenomenon. We are currently witnessing a massive shift in style interaction. There is undeniable prevalence of English term being used in Indonesia professional and culture circle. We see this constantly in contexts like a tech startup, creative agency, and academic environment. The example, we often hear sentence like, jangan lupa follow up ke klien ya, biar project ini bisa segera approval. Or, gue ngerasa web tempat ini kayaknya kurang estetik deh buat konten. For a real world example, this English word is slips into our Indonesian sentence is completely naturally. Sociolect, not where you live, but who you are. The sociolect definition, variation based on social group membership, distinct from a geographic dialect, identity through specialist vocabulary. In sociolinguistics, this relates heavily to the concept of a sociolect. A sociolect is not about where you live, but rather that who you are. By definition, a sociolect is language variation based on social group membership. This makes it entirely distinct from a geographic dialect. Through this specialist vocabulary, speakers are unconsciously building and showcasing their identity to the people around them. Next slide is language as a prestige marker. The power of naming, how English term elevate perceived value, a social status versus a linguistic necessity. So why English? Because language function are prestige marker. There is power in naming. Use English term often elevate the prestige value of something more often than not. This boil down to social status rather than actual linguistic necessity. And the example is a dish with as a fried rice with a sunny side up is often considered more luxurious and can cost more than if it were simply listed as a nasi goreng for ceplok. Even true, it is the exact same dish. Okay, the next slide is about key features about the functional code mixing, technical borrowing, some with no direct cultural equivalent, and about the social pillar, enhancing the flow of modern conversation. There are a few key features on this function. Code mixing is the first technical borrowing, which involves using a term that have no direct cultural equivalent in our native language. The second is the use of social filler, and which serve to enhance the natural flow of modern conversation. And we have an example. The use of words is like a worth it, sepadan, fit talk or obrolan mendalam, healing or penyembuhan diri, and the last is hidden gem or tempat tersembunyi tapi bagus. This word is give the impression that the speaker is very much up to date with the global trend. And the next slide is about identity construction in youth subscribers. Self-positioning, performing an international persona. In group solidarity, if you don't use the term, you are out. For youth subcultures, this phenomena is deeply tied to identity construction. It is a form of self-position, allowing individual to perform a more international person. It also fosters in a group solidarity. If you don't use this term, you are considered out of the loop. The example is for us English education department student, we often use a term like assignment or submit instead of tugas or kumpulkan in our class WhatsApp group. We do this is not because we don't know the Indonesian word, but rather to actively strengthen our identity as a competent, aspiring English teacher. Okay, and the last slide is conclusion. Optimistic is a strategic social tool. It defines social hierarchy and professional identity, a reflection of Indonesian bilingual urban culture. In conclusion, code mixing is a highly strategic social tool. It actively defines our social hierarchy and our personal identity. Ultimately, we are what we hear and speak every day is a direct reflection of Indonesian dynamic bilingual urban culture. Urban culture. This brings me to the end of my presentation today, and thank you very much for your time and for your attention. And thank you, everyone.